Most photographers think the way to make more money is to just book more clients, more sessions, more shoots, more hustle. But more clients at the wrong price doesn't mean more profit. It actually means more work, more stress, and more burnout. The truth is, your clients actually want to spend more money with you, but your pricing is stopping them. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Sarah Petty, founder of the Photography Business Institute. I've sold over $3 million in portrait photography services and helped more than 25,000 photographers build profitable businesses. And in this video, I'm going to share 8 portrait pricing secrets that nobody tells you. You'll see why most photographers get it wrong, and I'll give you the exact steps to price profitably without scaring away your clients. Secret number 1. More clients does not equal more profit. Listen, when I was super underpriced, I was succeeding in all the wrong ways. I was booking like crazy, but where was the money? I thought the answer was simple math. If 6 clients brought in some money, then 12 clients would double it, right? Well, so I kept saying yes to everyone. My calendar was packed. I looked busy and successful. But at the end of the month, after paying for all the things, film, processing, prints, packaging, taxes, and childcare, there was barely anything left for me. So more clients at low prices didn't equal more money. Here's what I learned. The problem, if your schedule is full, but your bank account is empty, you have a profit problem. The reality, profit comes from margin, not volume. Here's how we calculate profit. Profit equals your revenue that you bring in less your expenses, which where most people mess up is they don't include their time. Let's say you have 10 client sessions and they each give you $200. That's 10 times $200, which equals $2,000. But if you spend 15 hours per client session because you're overshooting and over retouching, that's 150 hours, which comes to about $13.33 an hour. That's less than the minimum wage. And I would bet you're actually working more hours editing and retouching because I know you probably are overshooting and over retouching and giving away way too many digital files. So if you contrast that with a model where you serve your clients at a higher level and you help them get fewer printed pieces of artwork on their walls, it changes the game. Let's take those same 10 sessions times a $2,000 average, which now equals $20,000. At 10 hours per client, and it's fewer because you're not overshooting, you're not over editing, and you're only retouching what the client orders, you're making about $1,000 per hour. The second option gives you 10 times greater revenue with 75% less work, meaning far higher profit and a better life. Do you see how not only are you serving your clients better by holding their hand and getting them large printed artwork, you are getting more profit and your life back. Secret number 2, quit giving it all away so you've created an assumption of sale. Let me explain because I had to learn this the hard way. I was giving my early clients all of the images in printed form. Many of you are doing it with digitals, but I was doing that and hoping they would order more. The problem was there was never an assumption of sale, meaning they didn't think they needed or wanted to order anything past getting all the images because they had everything. They were telling their friends, oh my gosh, you should hire Sarah because you get so much for your $75. And here I was expecting that they're going to look at these itty-bitty proofs and then order a large wall portrait. I was gambling on maybes instead of running a business. I realized that had to change. And for me to make more money, like how a restaurant charges you for what you order, I somehow had to make people pay me for anything I was printing for them. This was super scary at first, but then I realized that more images wasn't serving them. It was overwhelming them, which means they weren't having anything hanging on their walls to enjoy. For me, they got this little box of prints that they stuck in a drawer or lost in a box in the attic. And nowadays, photographers are doing the exact same thing with digital files. They think that one day clients might print them themselves or come back and place an order, but they don't. And listen, I believe to my core, people don't need more digital files. They have plenty. I believe they need printed artwork on their walls and in albums to enjoy for generations. And I need them to place the order from me so that I can protect my brand and make sure that everything's printed properly versus at Walgreens. And when I do that, I can make enough profit to stay in business. Here's the truth. You've got to have an assumption of sale built into your process. That means your clients know from the beginning that whatever they take home, they will be paying for. It's not pushy. It's not salesy. It's just running a profitable business. Listen, the moment I shifted from, I hope they'll order more, to, of course, they're going to invest in something because we've been talking about it the whole time, was the moment my entire business changed. Secret number 3, stop negotiating with yourself at midnight. When I realized I had to quit giving it away and I needed to create a price list, I would wake up in the middle of the night negotiating with myself. I'd lay my head on the pillow and I'd convince myself, raise the prices $10. In the middle of the night, I'd wake up and say, no, we should only raise them $5. And then in the morning, I'd go, maybe $7. What? That fear of rejection kept me stuck for way too long. I was so afraid of what people would think that I was willing to stay broke for far too long. I kept thinking, what if they say no? What if they think I'm too expensive? But here's what I wish I'd known earlier. Your fear of regret has to become bigger than your fear of rejection. The breakthrough came when I made the decision that I was either going to figure this out or stop doing photography altogether because what I was doing had no future. I just had to stop negotiating with myself. Instead, I committed to creating a process focused on thrilling my clients and making it easy for them to order. My heart sank thinking about all those early clients who convinced themselves they'd come back and order one day, but they never did. So I built my system to ensure that everyone who came to me for portraits would leave with actual printed artwork for their walls. At a bare minimum, everyone ordered something. And as my system improved, those orders consistently grew. Look, once I had that system in place, it became so much easier to stop undervaluing my time and my work. By the way, friend, if you like what I'm sharing here, you will love my free weekly newsletter. It's a quick 5-minute read and it gives you actionable ideas to grow your photography business. So click the link in the description right now to sign up. Secret number 4, print your prices on paper for instant confidence. Now, I don't mean copy paper from your printer. Hang tight, okay? Because this might sound simple, but physically having your prices printed changes everything. When I first set my prices right before I changed my model, this decision was the hardest part. But I realized that once my price lists were professionally designed and beautifully printed on a thick cardstock type paper, I immediately felt more legitimate. What most photographers do wrong is they go into their computer on Microsoft Word and they type them up with dated fonts and big typefaces without images of the products. And what this does, it screams, you're an amateur. It also makes it super easy for you to just every night keep negotiating with yourself. I'm gonna raise it, I'm gonna lower it, I'm gonna raise it, I'm gonna lower it. When you commit to your prices and you get them professionally printed, it's so much easier to just set it and forget it, and then move on to the other things in your business that are going to bring in clients. Now, when I had to raise my prices significantly from what they were to what I knew now they needed to be for me to be profitable, I realized very quickly that my system had gotten so well oiled that it was making price completely irrelevant. People were feeling so served and I was making it easy for them to order. So I looked back on all that stressing that I had done over pricing and wished that I could go talk to my past self. I think that's why I'm here talking to you, to save you all of the struggles that I went through. So here's what I did. I would order 25 price lists at a time, which is how they came from the printer. And over the years, as I've been teaching photographers and they ask me, well, Sarah, how do I know when to raise my prices? I kind of joke with them and tell them, well, when you run out of the 25 price lists, it's time to raise the prices and order more. And really, this is what I did because I thought I'm so busy and I was going through them so quickly. Clearly, I must have been still underpriced. Another thing I do with pricing is that I created a strategic way to raise the prices every time I printed in ways that nobody was going to notice. And here's the thing, when I changed my model, I realized that I wanted to serve right fit clients every few years at landmark times for their families versus being a disposable digital file photographer where they come back multiple times a year. So I wanted larger orders, but also I knew that they're not coming back for a few years. They're not going to remember exactly what my pricing was. And in 27 years, I've always clearly explained and reviewed pricing to even recurring clients before any images have been created. And I don't remember anyone referencing what they paid in the past. The bottom line is that physical price list gave me the confidence to present my work as the investment that it truly was. Secret number 5, 2 albums, not 3. Breaks industry rules, I know, but you got to hear this. Look, a lot of people in the industry are teaching 3 albums, small, medium, large. However, the way my prices are structured and how I teach my students includes just 2 albums. And it has increased orders for so many of my students doing this, and I want to share it with you. These albums are super different from each other, and we make it very clear with the client what the difference is and why they might pick one over the other. When other photographers offer 3 albums, the goal is usually, the client will pick the middle one. But the problem is the photographers who are offering 3, what I feel like are overwhelming choices, they typically make them not different enough, which creates paralysis by analysis, and clients don't end up picking anything, which I don't think serves the client. So I simplified to just 2 very distinct options. A small one that is super easy to add on for the client. So they're like, oh yeah, we could get that for grandma. And they get an additional album, or the bigger one is meant to be more of their main purchase. Now, this is where this strategy comes in really handy because sometimes people will buy both, but with high school seniors, they want the social media digital file that we provide to all of our clients for everything they purchase. I want you to hear me on that. Everything they purchase, not everything I photograph. So when they purchase an album that's full of images, they get all of those for social media. They're not big enough for them to print because we want to control the printing, but it definitely helps them justify the value of an album. And sometimes mom will even add on a small one for dad or grandma. Don't be afraid to break the rules that everyone else is following, but just make sure you have a strategy. I think a lot of times what people think are industry-wide best practices are old school strategies that have been around for way too long, and they're designed to keep you average. Number 6, anchor your prices to their spending. This is one of my favorites, my friend. Listen, because I want my clients and prospects to quickly see that they're already spending large amounts of money in their lives on things that don't even matter, things that don't last nearly as long as their investment in heirloom artwork. So what I do is I anchor my prices to those things and those places they've already been spending money. For example, I say things like, I get it, this is an investment to decorate your child's room, but you can go to Pottery Barn Kids and drop, $5,000 to redo your kid's room. And then you go next door and your neighbor has the same room. But when you put portraits of your child doing his or her thing, when they walk into their room and they see how confident they look and how loved they are, this builds self-esteem and decorates their room. I also help them look for any way in their life to logically justify this emotional purchase. For example, one prospect acted like she really wanted to come to me, but then she threw me the, I need to talk to my husband objection. And I was surprised because I really felt like we were grooving. And so I said, well, tell me about your husband. What do you think he's going to say? And I could tell that it really was him that she was worried about. And so I asked, what does he like to spend money on? And she goes, you know what? He spends $8,000 each summer to be able to golf at our club. And it's just for 3 months. So right there, she's like, this artwork is forever. So she had the logical justification she needed, if only to justify in her mind so that she could go tell her husband that this is what I want to do instead of asking, like, should we do this? And she went and booked right there instead of actually needing to talk to her husband. She just needed to believe it. That's called anchoring. This is where we help clients logically justify an emotional purchase by comparing it to money they're already spending on things that don't last. Secret number 7, lead with your story, not your prices. Listen, the best way to persuade anyone is by using stories. I have different stories I tell for each target audience, but here's the main one I tell. Listen, I was the second child of 2, and my parents were so busy chasing my barely older brother around, he started walking at about 10 months, that they weren't thinking about taking any pictures of me. So there are very few printed pictures of me as a child, and even fewer of me all by myself. So I tell my clients I'm going to save the world one portrait at a time. When anyone walks into my camera room in my studio, they can't miss the large frame with the small print in it where I tell everyone this is my best childhood photo. And they walk over and they look at it, and all you can see is the top of my head. My brother is behind me with his closed eyes and a runny nose, out of focus, which just adds a little salt to the wound. But when I share that story, every parent in the room feels it. They realize their own children are growing up just as fast, that time slips away when you're not paying attention. Listen, back then I get it. It was almost understandable that people took and printed fewer pictures. But today, this is going to be the lost generation. There are so many images created every single day, and yet so few are printed. Where are those images going to be in 50 years? This is why printed artwork is my passion, and I hope I can persuade you to fight for your clients also. This story reframes everything, doesn't it? It's not about buying pictures or digital files. It's about working with a photographer to preserve your family's history before a hard drive crashes and it's too late. Facts tell, stories sell. And the right story makes price objections completely disappear because people aren't buying portraits anymore. They're celebrating the ones they love by decorating their homes with beautiful artwork of them. So to recap, here are the 7 portrait pricing secrets nobody tells you. Number 1, more clients does not mean more profits. Focus on your margins, not your volume. Number 2, quit giving it all away and create an assumption of sale. Number 3, stop negotiating with yourself at midnight, my friend. Make the decision and commit. Number 4, professionally design and print your prices on gorgeous paper for instant confidence when you talk about them. Number 5, consider offering 2 albums and not 3. Make it super easy. If you want this, you get this one. If you want that, you get that one. Number 6, anchor your prices to their existing spending habits. And number 7, lead with your story, not your prices. Friend, when you stop undervaluing your work and you put the right systems in place, clients will happily invest more. Now that you understand these pricing secrets, your next step is to learn how to set fair and profitable prices so you can stop undervaluing your work and build a business that you actually get paid what you deserve. Click right here to watch that right now and finally price yourself like the professional you are.